Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to CharityNet USA's Wednesday afternoon webinar. Today's webinar, Marketing Ideas for Today's Nonprofits. We are starting now. Thank you for coming, and we do enjoy giving these. They seem to do so much good in our communities, and that's what we're all about in the charity world, isn't it? We're going to be joined soon by Howard Walker. Many of you have heard him in webinars before. Very learned man, knows a lot about nonprofits, and I know a lot about marketing. I've been in the marketing game since the early 1980s, first with NCR Corporation and Texas Instruments, and then in the entertainment industry for years with Warner Brothers and Tommy Boy and Atlantic, and then with movie companies like Sony and Koch and Gaiam, and now I'm with CharityNet USA and Biz Central USA. So between the two of us, I think we're going to give you some new marketing ideas that you may not have thought of. Today's topics: marketing overview. What can today's nonprofits do to get the word out? And that's really what marketing is, getting the word out. It's not selling a product, it's selling yourself. Grassroots marketing. I'm going to go a lot into what you can do on your own, not paying for advertising, but on your own 2 feet, walking around, meeting people, networking. And we're going to just touch on social media, which is the best value in network marketing, the best value you can possibly have, because you know what it costs for social media? Absolutely nothing. It just costs the time to set it up initially and that sort of thing. Once it's set up, it's a free service, no monthly charges or anything else. Those nice people at Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and YouTube, they're just doing wonderful things for us. And people complain about the advertising that exists on it, but I've been watching advertising ever since I opened my eyes and saw a television set for the first time. So today's television is Twitter. Email newsletter marketing and how it can work for nonprofits. Boy, this is a more and more important thing. Newsletters or just mass emails in general can cut your mailing costs down so much. We're going to go over a couple of tricks, what every good nonprofit website should have. And we're going to review a little bit of what we did in the webinar 2 weeks ago, which is branding and marketing consistency. Marketing overview, just in general. You want to be unique in your marketing. You know, there's no more of the 60s and 70s attitude of me too marketing. You can't just be another charity involved in rescuing dogs, because now every single charity, no matter how small they are, how local they are, thanks to the internet, every single charity can be seen by anybody in the world just by a search. So it's not, I'm just another one of those charities, but I'm your local one. You have to pay attention to marketing nowadays. Before you can beat your competitors, donors and volunteers have to be able to tell you apart from the other charities that do a similar thing. You need to determine your best marketing strategy. What works for you? What do you feel comfortable with? You may be a faith-based nonprofit, and you're not comfortable with certain things that a nonprofit that's involved in saving a particular building in the historic district of downtown would be. So that nonprofit that wants to save the building in the historic district could have a wine and cheese party as a marketing event, as a networking event, where the faith-based charity may have a problem with that. So you've got to decide what's right for you. Don't worry about what's right for somebody else. Don't say, oh, they shouldn't do that. What's right for you? Concentrate on yourself. Marketing is a self-image thing. Learn what you can provide your target audience that will value them most. Don't worry about everyone else. What's your target market? If, again, you're an animal shelter rescue organization, your target market are people that care about dogs that aren't being properly cared for. It's not African relief organizations, and it's not Save the Building in downtown Missouri. It's specifically people who care about dogs who are mistreated. After you're confident that your target audience is responding effectively to your new message, then you expand it to all media. What do we mean by all media? At that point, you want to, after you've decided on your marketing, after you've decided on your look, after you have your logo, after you have your website, then you want to expand it to every type of social media, to press releases, to articles, and most importantly, to networking. You can't go out and properly network unless you have a card that identifies you. And the identifying, the symbol of what you represent, that's your logo. What you actually represent, that's your brand. So let's start out with grassroots marketing. It's certainly the most affordable type of marketing. It consists of using resources you already have to spread the word about your mission or service. It includes marketing, just on a whole bunch of different levels. It's not just going out and trying to sell your organization and give somebody a sales pitch. It has to become personal. When you're networking, you're talking one-on-one with somebody you haven't met before or a friend of a friend. And we're going to talk in a few minutes about the elevator speech, and I'll give you a few examples. But when you're coming up with grassroots marketing, you have to make it personal. If you don't believe in your cause, then why in the world are you in this nonprofit business? Because a lot of it is belief, a lot of it is doing something good and making yourself feel good for doing it. And that's what you need to do at the grassroots level. The people you're talking to have to understand you are psyched. You are into this cause. You are the best possible place they can put their money and their efforts and their volunteer efforts, because your organization, the one you're running, the one you're involved with, certainly cares about that cause. You have to come up with something that works best in a combination. You know, when you just throw a garage sale for a fundraising effort, well, people come and they buy stuff that they want because it's a bargain. However, if you throw a garage sale, and at that garage sale, anybody that buys anything, you know, which is essentially a donation, gets a ticket to come to another event. Maybe it's a seminar talking about your event, or maybe it's a movie presentation on something to do with your cause. But then it's a 2-level event, and it becomes a 3-level event when those people that have bought something that supported your cause at the garage sale go to the next event, which is a free event, a seminar, movie, whatever, and they're standing around in the room, and that's your chance to use your elevator speech and go meet one-on-one with them. And that is the essence of grassroots marketing. Grassroots marketing is something that helps your organization to get to know your community, and it lets your community get to know who you are and that you're there as well. You know, a lot of people think of us as a huge national company that provides business services and nonprofit services for 12,000 countries across the nation. And this is true, we do. But in our local community, very few people know we even exist. All 3 buildings are right here in Orlando, and we do very, very, very little of our business here in Orlando. So we've begun an outreach service to let the local businesses know that we're here, and lo and behold, they're interested that we're here, and it's kind of exciting. So this sort of thing, getting to know your community, really works. Word of mouth works best locally. And it seems to form a ripple effect among your community. When one person likes you, their friends automatically are predisposed to give you a chance and see if they like you too, and then their friends like you, and your events go from having 50 people show up to a bake sale to 500 or 1,000 or 2,000 people showing up for the marathon next year. So grassroots marketing, most important thing you can do. Teamwork in motion. Your volunteers are key to grassroots marketing. You can't do it all yourself. And volunteers aren't always just people who make cookies and serve meals at the spaghetti dinner. Volunteers are also not only your board members, but people in the community who are powerful and believe in your cause and want to go out and help in the effort to get donations and help in the effort to get more people involved in the cause. And donations, of course, this isn't the webinar for that, but donations aren't only money. Donations are also getting in-kind donations, things that will help your organization. If you're doing a spaghetti dinner, the spaghetti or the plates or whatever else happens, and this all happens from teamwork. Everyone who volunteers for your organization or works with you in grassroots local marketing effort, they need to be made to feel they're part of a team. That if they don't show up, if they're not heard from in a week or 2 weeks, that you feel bad and you call them and want to know why you haven't heard from them. You're important. They're important. So here's what happens when you have happy volunteers that wonder where each other are and work together. You have a nice team that are working together for good, and that's what we're all in the nonprofit business for, isn't it? Working together for good. What makes good grassroots marketing campaign? Well, we've talked a lot about that, but you want to use your resource, your board. We seem to be having audio problems, so if you would stand by for one moment. Hopefully that's better. Now, speaking engagements, guest speakers at other events are very important. To go to Lions Club meet or Rotary meetings and talk about your cause. That's where donors come from. That's where volunteers come from. You might even get the entire organization volunteer at your events. Press releases are direct. It's important to handle it locally. Don't mail them. Walk in. Tell them about your cause. Tell them why this press release is important. And your use your connection news coverage. Even if it's only another organization's newsletter, any exposure is good exposure. The best way to get people excited about your cause or service is to be excited about who and what you are. You've got to be excited about your cause. You've got to know that it is the most important cause to you because that feeling is infectious. Ask the community for feedback. Word of mouth spreads when the community knows that you care what they think. Think about that. They start feeling a lot better about you when you ask them what they think about your organization and what could make it better. Now they feel like they're part of your organization, whether or not you take the advice, and it might be some very good advice. Network, 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 network. Can't say that enough. Networking, again, is talking one-on-one to people and having people connected with the organization talk one-on-one with people. People are concerned about what's close to them. Wherever you or a member connected with your organization goes, network. Pass the word. After all, it's the first word in creating word of mouth. Pass the word. Get it? Some grassroots examples. Okay, look for notices of recently promoted citizens in the paper and LinkedIn. Congratulate them and ask them for advice. Get them to come in. Everyone loves to be noticed. They really do. They may be grateful. They may come in, sit down with you, discover this is someplace they want to be a part of, and you know because they just got promoted that they have more money than they had the month before. So there might be a little excess that they want to donate. They might be in a tax situation that donating might be a much more appealing thing. And anyway, you've reached out to your community, which is grassroots. Speaking engagements. Again, if you're not a good public speaker, and many people aren't, someone in your organization is. Find who they are, practice them, rehearse them. Get a good 20, 30-minute presentation and a 10-minute presentation about your cause specifically, and then start having someone call the Lions Club and the Rotary Club, and there are dozens and dozens of those clubs, and get set up to go speak, because those are also community-minded people, nonprofit, charity-minded people. So everyone in that room of a Lions Club are people that are already thinking about donating time, money, and effort to a cause. So if you present your cause well enough, you may pick up quite a nice percentage of people who want to be involved in your cause, if you make your cause their cause. Here's another example. Offer to speak on your cause and make it interesting. The clubs in the area, societies are always looking for good speakers. And this is true. I run a couple of organizations, and we're always wondering who are we going to get to speak next month. And we end up plugging in somebody that they already heard 6 months before. If you have an interesting cause and a good speaker, you're going to get booked at more places than you want to get booked. Host seminars or webinars for good. Now, I put in the for good because you don't want to host a webinar or a seminar that ends in an infomercial of give me money. You can make it known that donations are acceptable, but the point of a webinar or a seminar from you in a grassroots marketing effort is to make people aware of you, not to hit them up hard for money. You do that after you get their email addresses and after you get their address and phone number. Then you might have somebody call one-on-one and talk to them rather firmly about how important a donation is and how much they're needed. But the purpose of a webinar or a seminar is to make them aware of your cause. Canvassing, flyers, cards, even events, it's all considered canvassing. If you have what we were talking about before, the bake sale or the garage sale, have some cards ready for people. Have some flyers about your cause. Don't be embarrassed that this is for a particular cause. Let them know that the money that they're spending on this goes to this cause. And by the way, here's a brochure. This is what my cause is about. Social media. We're going to touch on this just briefly because, as you know, in 2 weeks we have a social media webinar. And kind of excited about that one. We're going to have a lot of fun, a lot of great examples in the social media webinar, which will be a full hour of just social media. Definitely the best value out there today. So what is social media marketing? It's using elements of social media to enhance profits, to attract volunteers and cultivate interest in your cause and its needs. It's using Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and your website blog, along with YouTube, together to increase or improve your image in the market. Because remember, your brand is your image. So everything you do is about making that brand, that name, that logo, and what it stands for, your brand, your image, your cause, important to people. So Twitter's definition and uses. Twitter is basically a one-line message site. That's what people think of it as, that texting stuff people do on their phone. Well, that's not what Twitter is. You may think of Twitter as social only. It's just you're way off base. Twitter can deliver links to websites, webinars, pictures, videos, and more. With Twitter, you can develop a following of 10, 20, 100, 200,000 people. And when you send a message out, it doesn't mean they all get the message. If you send out bulk mail, it doesn't mean they all get the mail. But the ones that do are able to click on links to go to your website, click on links to go to videos that are hosted at YouTube that show your cause and how important it is and why you need to donate now. All sorts of things you can do with Twitter, and we'll talk more about that in 2 weeks. Facebook. It's the most used social network, but it's a very social network. There are things that nonprofits use Facebook for, however. One, it's connected to billions of people. You never use a logo for your picture. It always has to be the picture of a director. If you're using it primarily for your organization, it still needs to be attached to a person primarily. However, your segmented page may have your logo. You hear the term like. What is a like? It used to be called a fan. A like is simply somebody who's decided that they want to see what messages you're sending out and they want to be a part of your particular site. It's a cute name they came up with. Promotional likes are what nonprofits want. When somebody likes a nonprofit, they're saying, I want to hear the latest news and updates about your organization and its cause. What is a page? A page is a mini website. It's something that you use as a landing page for a particular event or project. The best use for Facebook is announcements of events, promotions, as a landing page, or for cause marketing, to get awareness out of a particular cause that's urgent, that people know about it right then. As a landing page for events and cause marketing and public relations and all these sort of things is a little bit complicated to go into without some more time, so we'll do that in 2 weeks again. But a landing page works differently for each of these things, and it's something that's very easy to set up. So we'll see in 2 weeks on that one. LinkedIn is more for business, less for social. There's a full nonprofit within LinkedIn. There's LinkedIn nonprofits. I've several articles I've written, hundreds of articles other people have written. There are all sorts of nonprofit groups within LinkedIn, and you can start your own nonprofit group within LinkedIn. So a wonderful venue for what you're doing. You join various groups. You never use a logo as your picture. Always use a director's picture as the picture. And always be business. This isn't a fun place for chatting. This is a place for announcing serious things about your cause and serious updates to your cause. And maybe so-and-so became a gold level donor. Thank you to him. And it goes out to everyone else, and they think, maybe I want to outdo so-and-so, because your LinkedIn network will be people business-minded that want to be involved in your cause. You want to connect with like-minded people. And do not use it as a personal site. Use it as a personal business site that's related to your cause and its marketing. That's why we have this nice little guy down here pointing to charts and graphs, because that's more what LinkedIn is about. YouTube. YouTube is very simply free video hosting. It's not that place your kids go to listen to annoying punk rock music. It is a video hosting site. That's it. There are many services out there that charge quite a lot of money to host videos, especially to host videos on a website. But with YouTube, it hosts your videos for free. Your web programmer can embed a link to your YouTube video, and it shows as if it's right in your website. Wonderful advantages to YouTube. Don't think of it as a place you wouldn't want your charity represented, because YouTube doesn't represent anything. It's just a video hosting site. It's great mostly for 30 to 90 second short informational videos. You can have longer, but it's really not what it's meant for. You want to be as animated as possible, meaning you don't want to have one static image and talk for 5 minutes like these Facebook presentations. You want to have a person talking one-on-one with a camera. But you can use properly set up Facebook presentations. They're mobile ready automatically through YouTube. It's widescreen HD ready automatically, and again, all without cost. One thing that's important for a nonprofit is be topical. Stay on topic. Stay on your cause and your cause only. Okay, the 4 big social media groups are Twitter, used to send a well-crafted one-liner with links to events, videos, websites, and blogs. Facebook, your Facebook page could be a mini website and is used as promotion to other events. LinkedIn, business connection networks. It's a place to form groups and to promote events. And YouTube, very simply, it's a free hosting for your videos. I think we're about to get Howard Walker. I hear the door. One quick section here, email marketing. It's definitely something you want to get involved with nonprofits. Email campaigns. Many organizations have replaced or supplemented their direct mail efforts with email marketing because email marketing is so vastly cheaper. There's no postage with email marketing. There's only the cost of creating the email and a minor cost for a send, as opposed to creating it, buying the envelopes, creating the envelopes, stamping them, addressing each one individually, whether it's done by computer or not, paying the postage charge, and driving that gigantic bag to the post office and getting them mailed out. Email simplified all that. Email marketing campaigns are less expensive and easier to track. Now, this is very important. Tracking on an email campaign, you can know, on a bulk mail campaign, you know that 95, 98% of the mails are just thrown right in the garbage can. Well, in the email campaign, you know by email, which means you can link that to their address, phone number, and everything else, who opened the email, the ones who opened it, who clicked to go to your website or go to your event. You can tell all that information from an email campaign, and it's very, very valuable to you. Relevant email marketing means your email marketing subscribers get emails from you when they want, how they want, and with the information they want. You want lists of people that are interested in your cause. They might be from another organization who's given you their email list to allow you to market to them too. Don't abuse that list. Don't start talking about personal events or your 50th wedding anniversary, because people on your business nonprofit email list may not be interested in that event. Stay on topic. Stay on cause. Don't get mixed up with what's only relevant to you. Make sure that you keep, this is important, you need to keep the look and feel consistent on your email campaign. They have to look the same. They have to be the same color. They have to have the same masthead across the top. Think of it as a newspaper. Every time you get the newspaper, it looks exactly the same. It has different news items. It has different headlines, but you always know it says the Courier Times at the top. It has the major headlines. It has articles. It has what are you going to see inside, and then it has the address and phone number and other information on the bottom. Maybe it has the weather up in the corner. Whatever you decide the outline of that email page is going to be, it needs to be the same every time, so people know when they see it, that's what I want to look at. Because you know you get 100 different emails a day, and some of them you want to look at and some that you don't. You want to make sure that your followers, the people that are willing to open your email, are opening it because they know it's you. Finally, by keeping the look and feel consistent, you help to maintain and reinforce your brand image. And Howard Walker, who just walked in. Howard, how are you?
Doing just fine, Tom.
We're very happy that Howard has joined us, and we're going to be turning it over to him in a little bit. I want to finish email marketing campaigns here, and we're going to hear some really good input. So the content of your email marketing, this is very important. Your content must be clear and relevant. I keep restating that relevant, but in the nonprofit world, in the cause marketing world, you've got to stay on topic and do not get political. You may think that it's just absolutely terrible that the administration supports blood diamonds and they're allowing people to get away with it. Stay away from that. Your cause is to help children that are affected by the blood diamond crisis. Don't get involved in the politics of what's causing that, because you turn off donors that otherwise may have donated to you. So stay on cause, stay on market. Use appropriate graphics and have white space. Have open area so they're not as crowded as this slide. This slide that you're looking at now is way too crowded. I probably shouldn't have had the little guy on the tightrope again, for instance, and there's way too much information down here. You want to get your point across, and you don't want people to think there's a lot to read. Include call to action links. What is a call to action link? Howard, what's a call to action? Go to my website now. Donate now.
Call to action.
Yep.
Act now.
Act now. People are dying today. We need donations. We need volunteers. We need to solve this crisis. At the end of the speech that you've given, whatever action you want them to take, maybe it's just go to the bake sale this weekend. Click here for a list of the cakes that will be available. Something to get them to do an action. You want them to do an action. Create a sense of urgency. If they don't do it now, this is going to happen. We need help today, because they forget the second they go to the next email. You need them to leave their email page and go to your website. That's what we do here at Charity Net. We help you create things that create a sense of urgency. It's an art, and this guy sitting next to me is one of the best artists in it that I've seen. Pay attention to spelling and grammar. Always have someone proofread. I've noticed 2 misspelled words in this presentation, but I put it together so fast last night and this morning that I didn't have it proofread enough. Inexcusable for me too. So make sure that you have somebody else other than spell check review your spelling and grammar, because sometimes it's just 2 words that you forgot a space because you were typing so quickly, and somebody looks at it and they see it as unprofessional. Pay attention to grammar, spelling, always have it proofread. I can't repeat that enough, especially for myself. design for the preview pane. Now, what do we mean by that? What we mean is you have this big wide screen on your desk because you're the director. So you write an email and you have it spread out all over the wide screen, and yet people are looking at it on their phones, and they're looking at it on their little skinny tubes at the office and on laptops and that sort of thing. So most email providers, mass email senders, give you a preview pane, and that shows you what the average person is going to see the email looking like. Don't create it on your desktop. Create it in the preview pane so you know what people will be looking at. Now, some content ideas for emails to keep people interested are how-tos, how to do something, how to help. Case study. This is the latest case study from Dartmouth University about blood diamonds. Best of or top 10s. People love top 10 lists, best of lists. That's one of the most popular things for blogs and for newsletters and email blasts. Educational. People love to read something educational. They feel guilty if they don't finish it. Opinion. Opinion as long as you stay away from politics. Seasonal. I'll always use the seasons if it's the Christmas season or what do we have coming up now? The Memorial Day season. Use those seasons. Reviews. Oh yes, review somebody that you are particularly like. Probably shouldn't do negative reviews. And news. News of your cause. Not news of the world, news of your cause. So how can email, how does it work? How does it work for nonprofits specifically? It's low cost. Compared to direct mail, email marketing is extremely low cost, and we all know nonprofits never have enough money because even a wealthy nonprofit, if they're a good nonprofit, is using that money for their cause. So anything they save is better for the cause. Data, the valuable demographic data that you can get from the email campaign, if you do it through us, for instance, I can tell you by name who opened, who clicked on let's say you have one click for going to the cause, one click to donate, one click somebody wants to be a volunteer, and another click for leave me alone, don't send me so many emails. I can tell you exactly when they signed on and what they clicked on. This is part of email marketing. It's nothing sneaky. That's what email marketing is about. It's how Microsoft set it up. Email marketing is highly automated. You decide what you want to do, and with one click of the button, I'm telling you, it happens so quickly you wouldn't believe it. When I send out an email, I can immediately go to the data sheet and start looking at the people who are opening it right then, right that second. When you send a mail through bulk mail, maybe a week before the first person gets it. Email marketing is amazing. And a relationship. Emails handled properly, sent in series, sent consistently, and sent with a genuine love for your cause will help you build relationships of trust if executed correctly. Now, what you see forming here, that's your website. And I'll bet you that most of you that aren't actively into analytics and SEO generation, search engine optimization, keywords, and other things, you're standing back here with one person in a website. Most of the websites we look at have 14 or 15 visitors, unique visitors, in an entire quarter. What you want to do is fill up this whole area with people, and there's a lot of different ways that every nonprofit website should use things that are very low cost or no cost. You want to have a frequently asked questions section. And right away you're saying, what would they ask about me? Well, let's look at 3 questions. How can I get involved in your nonprofit? Where do I get more information about your cause? And that #1 top hit, what volunteer operation or opportunities does your organization offer? Those are pretty good ones when you say Howard.
Oh, yeah.
Then you want to have social media direct access. This you'll learn in 2 weeks if you don't notice it already. You start them up, and then they have these 4 little buttons that you put right on your website. And they sign up and get excited about your website. They can, for instance, hit the Twitter button, and it'll automatically send a message to their Twitter followers that they've joined your site and your cause. You want to have an active blog. Whether or not you write an article twice or 3 times a week about your cause, web programmers can put in what's called an RSS feed, and that automatically downloads relevant blogs about your particular cause. So there's always something new for people to look at. Otherwise, they will come to your site once and never come back. Always new information, new updates. Have a place for newsletter sign up on the home page. The first thing they should see is sign up for our newsletter, stay up to date on the so-and-so cause. Have great content. Very important. No bad facts. Research your facts. I can't tell you in the last month how many times I've seen things like, you know, there are a gazillion starving children in Africa. What is a gazillion? There's no such thing. It's a silly expression. It should not be used. Websites are looked at as encyclopedias. When people are looking at a nonprofit website, they expect facts to be correct. Check your facts. Double check your facts. Look on Wikipedia for your facts, and then put the facts in your website. So your website then becomes what's called a knowledge-based website, and people will link to you because you're a knowledge-based educational website that's recognized as a source of information, and that makes that many more people come to your website. No misspells. More important than ever on a website. Absolutely, you cannot have misspelled words. Use pictures whenever possible, because pictures, while you're a web programmer, can be linked to other things of importance to you, even linked back to your personal email when people click on them. Use keywords. We're not going to get into that today. And be brief and punchy. A web page should be short, easy to read, and have good, fun, exciting things to read on it. So as we see this city build, you've discovered that branding a nonprofit is like building a city. And with that, Howard, I'd like to turn it over to you for a little while. Howard is going to give us a few ideas on marketing, and then we're going to look into some of the questions you've asked today.
Well, for nonprofits, there are a number of things that don't even entail high-tech marketing, but there are some things that are tried and true, and that are fundamental things that every nonprofit should be thinking about. For instance, how do you engage your community? How do you make them aware of the things that you're doing? And when I say community, I mean stakeholders. That means people you serve, funding sources, agencies that you deal with, clients. One of the tried and true ways is to have a monthly open house. If you have a facility where you're providing services, one of the ways is provide tours of your facility on a monthly basis. Have a person assigned to have brochures about your organization. Let people see services in action. That's what they want to see. So even if it's minimal services, take them around. Have an open house on a monthly basis and let them actually see the services that are being provided. You want to take every opportunity to showcase your organization and have people walk away with something like a hard copy. So you can do this on a monthly basis. Invite elected officials, invite donors, invite all people from the community who might be some other nonprofits who you collaborate with. Have them all come on a monthly basis and take that tour. Another way to really market your organization, and you should use every opportunity to use this. But if you've gotten funding to open up a new office or a new program, use that opportunity to have a ribbon cutting ceremony where you have elected officials, you have other funding people. I don't care if it's a 2x4 office that you've been funded. Make it a big ceremony in which you can showcase. Take pictures. Make sure that you have pictures with your elected officials that people can see, and that you can demonstrate that you have this outreach into the community, both with elected officials, business people. Invite the business community to all of these things. So the main purpose of this marketing is to demonstrate that you are a part of this community, that you are leading the community in ways of community development and economic development. but you want to be a player. You want to be associated with the revitalization of your communities. Also attach whatever services that you're providing to all of the things that you're doing. So it is vital that you're out there, you're showcasing what you do, but you take every opportunity. Another thing is don't be afraid to let the media know what you're doing before you do these things. So you need to be able to be able to have your contacts within the media so that they understand what you're doing. All of these are marketing tools. Many of them don't cost much, but it is the fundamental things that you need to do to get your organization known and to have a feel in the community that you're an active participant. Okay, Tom?
Okay. All right, moving right along. It seems we're having a lot of audio problems out there, and in which case I'm hoping the recording works fine and you'll have a fully recorded version of this in about 2 hours. I see a lot of people say they're having audio problems, and I don't understand why, but we'll find out soon. Nonprofit branding is not making your donor choose you over your competitors. You have no competitors. Just because there are 5 people or 5 large charities, all very respectable, trying to get donations for animal shelters, it doesn't mean that you're in competition with the other 4. You all have to do with the same cause. You may be in competition with them because you feel that your way of going about fixing that cause is more important or better. But that's your job in branding, to make people feel they're comfortable with you. But it's all the same cause. If you say something bad about another nonprofit organization doing a similar thing, you're saying something bad about yourself too. Stay out of that. Stay away from that. Branding a nonprofit is all about your reputation. Forget about everybody else. Your reputation. Who are you? What is your cause? What is unique about your organization? Who do you benefit? And why should we care? A logo represents your brand. A logo is not your brand. So once you decide who and what you are, then you develop a logo around that feeling. And you stick with that and forget about what everybody else is doing. Just do it better. Well, guess what we're going to talk about now? How exciting. Please tell me more. Well, where do you start with this whole branding thing? And to me, the most important thing that a nonprofit has to remember is that elevator pitches are not just for-profit. It's your brand in 30 to 60 seconds. Yes, nonprofits must have an elevator pitch. And let's see, let me think of a good elevator pitch. And it doesn't have to be in an elevator. You just walked into a restaurant in your small town, and there's the wealthiest man in the city. And he's heard from somebody that you have this organization to save Jackson Park downtown that they're thinking of just abandoning and paving over and making into a parking lot. He's kind of interested, and he walks up. Hi, I'm Sam Jackson. What do you say? Well, hello, sir. I'm Tom Reich. I have a charity so-and-so about Save Jackson Park. Jackson Park's important. Do you know how many generations of children have played in that park? Our goal here is to not have less parks in the city. It's to have more. And we're not just asking the city to stop their plans of turning it into a parking lot. We have plans to get donations and funds to refurbish that park and make it the nicest park in the state. We want to put in new lights. We want to put in a new playground for children. We want to make sure that it's refurbished and fresh and the greenery is new and great and there's a wonderful place for our children to play. Now, that person's probably likely to think about asking you the next question, but that entire speech took 35 seconds. You've gotten everything out. You've made them feel that you have a plan in place and that if they give you money, where that money is going. That's an elevator speech. I'm sure you have a better one. Howard, by any chance, do you have an example of what you might say in 30 to 60 seconds?
No, but I think it's important that people internalize their own elevator speech. And they need to, make it so that when somebody's walking away, they have a good idea of exactly the essence of what they do. But elevator speeches are one in which everybody should practice, and they should internalize that themselves, and they should share it with their board of directors, because it should be a single message about how you, who you are and what you're about. So I would say that's almost an exercise that you can have at a board meeting, and that everybody's on the same page. Everybody start with your mission statement and really begin to take it apart and turn that into an elevator speech. Your mission, vision, and value statement.
And I think what Howard's saying about internalizing is you don't memorize something and recite it like a parrot. You have to believe it. You have to be passionate about it, but you have to be on message, and you all have to be given the same message. You can't be talking about refurbishing the park and putting new trees in so it's safe for children, while another member of the board or another volunteer is saying, yeah, we're doing it because we really don't want a parking lot in the middle of the city. Both are valid reasons. Both might get donors, but you need to have one united message. Am I right?
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's the essence of what I was saying, yes.
Okay, so nonprofit brand attributes, communication, all the unique ways that you deliver your brand. Relationship, promise, only what you can deliver, and this is so important. You'll blow your relationship not only with the donor or volunteer, but everyone they know and everyone their friends know, if you promise to deliver and then they find out that you've been using the money for trips, or that you are actually supporting another cause. It's a bond. A nonprofit is a bond. And if you agree to support a particular cause, it shouldn't even be a question. It's a relationship that you have made. You've made a friend. That friend has trusted you with money that's to be put to a certain cause, and that's where that money needs to be put. Am I correct?
Absolutely. It is, your mission and your vision for providing services is one in which you're making a pact with this community. You're saying, I see that there were some things that needed to be addressed in this community, and I'm stepping forward because I think I can make a substantial contribution in the resolution of whatever problem this is. That's basically what you're saying is starting a nonprofit. You're saying I can be a problem solver in this area. And as such, you need to be able to be true to that mission and that vision, because it's your credibility in the community. And once you lose that, it's very hard to gain it back again.
Absolutely. Innovation. What makes you different? Why do you stand out as unique? Again, if you have 3 dog shelters in your community, the other 2 aren't competition in that you want to talk negatively about them, or we do a better job because we paint the inside of our kennels blue or something like that. You want to show them why your passion is strong. I won't say stronger because that's comparing you to the others. You provide a unique experience in the dog shelter. What you do is important. No one else exists. As far as you're concerned, this is the service I'm providing, and it's so important to me that I've devoted my life to this, and all I'm asking for is a small donation. Or all I'm asking for is 2 hours on a Saturday.
Well, you're right as far as competition, but let me speak to that a little bit. There's always more need than services out there. But having said that, from my perspective of even when I review grants for the federal government, we expect you to collaborate with other organizations. Foundations, government agencies no longer fund standalone organizations. They want to see that you reached out to other organizations in the community. The biggest bang for their buck is when they see you collaborated with a health organization, job training program, all the different organizations within the community, because there's no nonprofit that can do service all of our clients' needs. It'll take a collaborative effort to bring holistic services to any client, no matter what services you're doing. So they want to make sure that you are collaborating throughout the community with health, education, mentoring, the church. They want to see this collaboration, and so there's never really a problem with competition. Now, having said that again, I would say it is always good to be able to differentiate yourself, but not from terms of competition, but just to distinguish what you are doing.
Absolutely. And the final point, flexibility. Be willing to change as time goes on, but stay true to your brand. Again, if you're in a small town and you've ended up with 3 dog shelters, perhaps you could expand into also being a cat shelter. If you need something, you got to, but you stay on message, and you stay true to your beliefs, and you work with the other shelters. Perhaps one of them could specialize in broken bones, and you could specialize in internal problems, and your vet volunteers then could send the patients back and forth and therefore help each other. There's all sorts of things we can do working together. So first you decide what you're branding. Decide your brand or marketing. Let's go over 3 check marks. Marketing a brand. By developing one brand, an organization will be better prepared to execute their marketing programs throughout the year. Decide on one digital identity. Be consistent in all the digital world. Have a social network unique to one organization. Have a blog that fits your digital identity and brand. Use keywords and phrases that fit your brand. Define, align, refine values, benefits, passions, personality, unique talents, and unique abilities. I wish I had made that graphic because that's such a perfect graphic for marketing. So, CharityNet USA, more marketing ideas, real world examples. We're now going to turn the microphone over for question and answers to Howard Walker. Trying to get on the non-moving page there. That seems to be, the moving stuff is what's causing our audio problems. I believe the audio problems have stopped now. The first question that I have here, for marketing purposes, they're an older nonprofit and they've never had to have a website before. How important is a website?
If you've never had a website, you've always needed a website. You've always needed, websites are tools of community outreach. There's also a functionality of a website that you'll need, for instance, for people to be able to donate to you, but more importantly, for them to see what you're doing. That is the new technology now. Elevator speeches are nice, flyers are nice, but you go to any meeting, they're going to want to know about your website. And they're for some intangible reasons too. Websites give your organization a sense of legitimacy. If you're putting yourself out there, if you're saying out in public, this is what we do, this is what we stand for, people tend to believe that. People tend to believe, well, that's what they do. And for a nonprofit, there's so many ways that, for your credibility in the community, for people to see what you're doing. You can have newsletters on there. You can have all kinds of communication tools on there for people to see what you're doing. So there's not a nonprofit out there that shouldn't have not only a website, but a functional website that will be able to take in donations, provide information that people need, to show visually what you're doing. All of those things that you need to have a proper website. Now, I know people can say I have a website, but if people can't find it, if it doesn't function the way it should, or if it doesn't represent your organization the way it should, foundations are looking at it, other funding sources are looking at it, donors are looking at it, your clients are looking at it. All of these people have different agendas of why they're looking at that website. And you need to have a proper website because that represents who you are before anything else.
I know this next question is off topic, but since it's you, I think we should ask this question. Somebody says they've tried many times for a grant and can't get a grant. What are they doing wrong?
Well, first of all, there are things that you need to do in order to get a grant. And if they call me, we can discuss it in more detail. But I'll tell you in general, have a 501c3, have a proper website, have a strategic plan. All of these things that we do, have some minimal services that you're providing in that area. In other words, if someone is looking, who's a funder looking at your organization, and this is what we do when I'm reviewing grants. We score each section. What kind of board do you have? What kind of fiscal systems do you have? Does it look like that you have a proper organization in which I can put money in and feel reasonably confident that you will carry out the mission? See, what people don't understand in many instances, foundations give dollars, not just for you to fulfill your mission. It is to fulfill theirs. You're a tool for them to fulfill their mission. They're not doing it directly. They're asking you to do it. So therefore, they want to feel confident that you're going to be successful in carrying out that mission with quality services. So if you're asking about a grant, look at it this way. Ask yourself, do I have a 501c3? Do I have a board of directors that I can count on? Do I have these fiscal systems? Do I have a strategic plan? What are the, looking internally at your organization to ensure that you're doing all the necessary things that a funder will feel confident in putting money in.
Now, we have well over 200 people signed on today. That could be part of why the broadcast audio is having a problem. I hope it's going out right now. I think it was the moving video. But an interesting question has come in. We're going to do this question, and then I'm going to move on with the summary, and we'll get back to Howard and the questions. We have quite a few questions. The ones that aren't answered by the end of the webinar, we will send you individual answers to your questions. But we'll get to quite a few more of them if you want to write some questions in the question and answer section that is to your right. We'll answer as many as we can, but this is an interesting question, and Howard, I was hoping you could answer this. Somebody said they have not yet applied for their 501c3, which they intend to do, but they're already in operation of their charitable functions with their own money. Is it okay to start marketing before they file, during their filing, or do they have to have their 501c3 before they market?
Well, it's not just so much your 501c3. There's certain states where there's an additional filing besides the 501c3, and that's why we tell people we like it when don't do anything, let us do it, because sometimes when people are doing this stuff piecemeal, we have to go and undo it. But having said that, yes, in some states, and many states, including Florida, you have to be registered as a charity. Now, this is a separate registration than go for your 501c3 or even incorporation. There's a separate filing. It's a charity registration. If you go out and solicit dollars and you're not registered in most states, you're subject to, here in Florida, a $1,000 fine for each solicitation that you make.
Wow.
So nonprofit is a heavy regulated business here, and for some reason there are those who think because it is a charitable organization they can do it themselves. Don't try to do those filings yourself. You know, come to us, we'll talk about it, we'll help you with it, but make sure that you have the proper filings in place before you go out and do some of these activities, and we can tell you which one those are.
One great thing about CharityNet is we have Howard Walker, who's quite active with the federal government as far as scoring grants. We have Melanie, who's very, very, very learned in the 501c3 and the grant writing area as well. Angelo, there's so many people that are just top professionals in this company, and when you go out and try to do some of this yourself, it's as if the government's put pitfalls in to stop you from doing it. For us, it's second nature. We put it together and it's done. So if you have questions on anything, call Howard, and he'll set you in the right direction. So So in summary, however you choose to brand your organization, it will have a permanent impression on your audience. Conquer the elevator speech. Get your brand in 30 to 60 seconds and we'll get more donations than anything you could possibly do. Remember, be patient and do not rush it. Your end result will benefit from sound, well thought out process. If you notice a little piece of the puzzle getting put into the puzzle, that's marketing. After you have everything set up, then marketing is the icing on the cake. So what do we provide? What services do we provide here at CharityNet USA? Well, we offer a variety of things: press release, writing, and distribution services. And this is just in the marketing area. We offer dozens and dozens and dozens of services, everything from bookkeeping and accounting to certifications and 501c3 and 990 tax filing and all of its variations, and advice on how that should be done. We even do HR solutions, and anything that you need we can handle for you. But in the marketing area, we do press release, writing and distribution, newsletter campaigns, development, starter sales kits, media kits, traditional branding, digital branding, logos, brochures, and websites. And then we go beyond that. We'll actually write your articles and blogs for you and distribute them, put them on your website, and get them out to many other people's websites while they're branded as your blog. That's something we can do. We can actually set up your social media network and train you on how to use it after we set it up for you. And blog implementation and training. We can put a blog on your website, write the first couple of blogs, and show you how you write them and how you put them on your website, or keep doing it for you. So there's all kinds of stuff that we can provide for you. You only have to ask. So questions, more information. Biz Central USA, CharityNet USA, two great websites to look at. You can contact me on marketing questions, Tom at bizcentralusa.com, and Howard at bizcentralusa.com. If you join us on Twitter, we guarantee you we'll follow you back. We're one of those people that always follow back. So it's that many more followers and that much more information you'll get from us on charity and tweets every day. That's Biz Central USA or CharityNet USA, more appropriately for you in the charity business. Our phone number is 407-857-9002. And again, we're CharityNet USA. Just for attending today or for watching the recorded version of this, we're giving you a coupon to be used with Howard or your consultant when you call in. 5% doesn't sound like a lot, but people don't give discounts on services. And this is, our prices are already the lowest in the market. If you check them around on any services we provide, you won't find an equivalent service for less. Remember, we're not a website like LegalZoom.com or something like that. We don't say, okay, you paid your money, now here's the form, fill it out, and we send it back to you typed up. No, you call a real person sends you a questionnaire, a real person goes over the questionnaire, executes the documents, sends them to you with areas that you have to sign, and a self-addressed stamped envelope for you to put it in and send it off to whoever it needs to be sent off to. We're a very different company from ones you'll find on the web. That being said, it's Howard Walker's turn to answer questions. Okay, I'm stopping the animation because that seems to be causing sound problems. So, Howard, who will be answering any questions that come up, his number is 407-857-9002, extension 857. 507. I'm sorry, extension 507, and that's Howard at bizcentralusa.com. Howard, a question here. Are traditional forms of advertising something that work for nonprofits? Billboards, radio ads, television ads, newspaper ads?
Sure. The other thing, when you have your 501c3, you can get free PSAs on most radio stations.
Really?
You can also get on television, on some of the community calendars on television. In print, you can also get some space in the community section in most newspapers. Those are free things. Those are the advantages of having a 501c3.
Wow. How would they go? Could they call you and get more information?
Sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm not asking. It sounds so salesy to say that. I'm just seriously interested because I've never heard this particular thing before.
Absolutely.
That's a great resource. Wow.
Yes.
Evidently, back before you came in, I was talking about the networking and grassroots marketing, and I said it was important to have cards or brochures to give out at networking events or even their own garage sales. What type of things would be a good thing for them to have in hand?
Well, like you said, business cards, but the main thing is if you have a business card, you're getting these business cards, write down where you met this person. Come home immediately and put this business card into some kind of file or use that you can access. Otherwise, it's going to go in the garbage. 2 days from it, you won't remember who it was, how you met them, what conversations that you had. But more importantly, running a nonprofit is a public benefits corporation. It is going to take the collaborative efforts of all involved to provide services. So nonprofits should be collaborating with their Chamber of Commerce, other nonprofits, elected officials, and there's a whole host of events that's going on that they should be a part of. Not only they should be a part of, but they should be hosting themselves. So yes, you should have your business card. You should have your arm with your elevator speech. And on your business card, make sure you have your website on there because that's what people go on to see. Otherwise, everybody has a business card. So make sure that you have your website on there.
They know my opinion because I already said how much I think email marketing is so superior to direct mail. But you come from the world where direct mail is still certainly legitimate. Somebody's asked what is really better if they have limited funds, doing direct mailing or doing email marketing.
Well,
neither's free.
Yeah. Well, that's right. But that depends overall. What is your overall fund development plan? We can just say email, direct mailing, or email. But what is your overall fund development plan? Is that just a part of your fund development plan of how you're going to be raising funds? It's an important part, but what are your other ways of you raising money? And so either one would do, but how does it fit with your context, your particular context, your particular community? A lot of people think that they can just send out emails and then that's it, and it does all they need to do for them. That's not the case. You need to be targeted. You need to do the things that you need to do. You should be sending these emails out for the most part with people that most of them that you already know because you met them somewhere. So to answer your question, with limited funds, the email and direct mail are parts of a fund development plan. So you need to have the type of funds that's going to do the other parts of that plan also.
All right, one more question, and then we'll sign off for the day. Say that you have a small nonprofit. It has a 501c3, extremely limited funds, and no donors in sight. What would you suggest as an initial marketing thing to try to get something going?
Well, first of all, when we say, I always say this, we have extremely limited budget. Let's go back to the fundamentals of what a nonprofit is. And you'll hear me say this in every one of these webinars. 90% of the times I hear that coming from the founder of a nonprofit. And my response is, where's your board of directors? I mean, this is not a sole proprietorship. Your board of directors should be engaged in providing or seeing that you get this type of funding. If we're going to go out and say that we want to be a nonprofit in the community, we have to be able to fund this. And not all of it is for somebody giving you something. You need to have income generating revenue. You need to have startup dollars so you can do these things. You can't take $100 and want to have a marketing plan and want to be able to do the things that you need to do. The first thing you need to do, look, on our website, we have some free fundraising tips. We have a buy now, pay later program. But you need to be able to finance some of this stuff. And there's no two ways about it. Sometimes you just can't go about having nothing to make something. You're going to have either through through some creative things like we do on our websites, or have your board be fully engaged, not only directly giving, but making sure that they have contacts who are available to you. So I understand money is tight, but that's why you have to be creative and go to our website or call up and ask us about some of our fundraising tips, which are free, or even our buy now, pay later program. But you need to be able, if you're starting out as a nonprofit, you need to be able to have an operating budget to say, this is what I'm going to do to get started. You have to have that. And it can't be done for one fundraiser at a time. You got to have a plan. And so when we talk about strategic planning, when we talk about these types of things.
And you can't, I've heard so many horror stories of people who decide, okay, we're going to have this big car wash event. And they get all their volunteers in, and they make $2,000 or $3,000 and pay the bills of their office off and do a little bit of charitable work, and all of a sudden they're broke again and no plan for the next event. And what am I going to do for the next event? They have to have a schedule so they know what's planned.
A plan.
Or a very big donor.
Yeah, well, and you're not going to get that without a plan. Again, look at your organization and think objectively. Would you invest in this? What do I need to be fundable?
You put a plan together, you market well, you have a good brand, you have consistent money coming in, and then you go for grants. Because grants are given to people who don't have to have them.
Look, what we do here at CharityNet USA is we take you step by step. There are many clients that call me and ask, could we do a grant? I tell them, no, you're not ready right now. But you need to do these things. Now, I will tell you this. I've had 2 clients who've called me in the last 7 days who had people write grants for them, and they can't even use them because they're not eligible for them. So people will do this. They will write those grants, but you have to have the organizational infrastructure, do things in order, and then you can do grants. We won't write a grant for you right away if you're not ready.
I think what you're saying is there are people out there who will say, yeah, well, of course, we'll write a grant for you. They said they won't write a grant for you unless you do this. Don't worry, we'll write the grant.
Yeah.
They can write the grant all they want to. That doesn't mean you're going to get the grant.
You won't get it.
Our people get the grants. Or we write another one.
Well, what we do is we make sure that you're eligible for the grants. So by that I mean doing the things here, 501c3, make sure you have a strategic plan, make sure you have a great website. Those are the fundamental things that you need to have before you even go for a grant.
I mean, remember, when grants are being awarded from the federal government, they go through Howard Walker and others. So he knows what he's looking for in the approval process. He knows what the others are looking for in the approval process. So to this person that was wondering that, call Howard, and I think he can get you on the right track. And again, if you're just desperate and there's no money, I can't do these things, we have resources that will help you get the money to do these things. We're not all about selling, but we're about promoting charities.
And I'll say this and I'll reaffirm this. If you started up a nonprofit, you started up a business. Nowhere else, no other business would you start it up without having some idea of having startup costs. You have to have that. Sit down with your board. look at our website, go buy now, pay later. But you got to be able to fund your startup costs.
Exactly. Thank you, everybody, for joining with us today. We're always honored when you take time out of your day and watch our webinars. We'll be back in 2 weeks for social media and the nonprofit organization. And I think you'll find some very good things. If you found anything interesting in the social media section, times that by 10. We give you all kinds of tricks, things that nobody else knows how to do on Twitter. I can show you how to do. I can show you how to have videos pop up on Twitter. I can show you how to have 100% set up on LinkedIn. Lots of fun things we'll be going over, but that's in 2 weeks. Thank you for joining us today, and may all your charity events be happy.